As a 21-year-old male who loves horror games, I was intrigued when an old friend from my online gaming days added me back to their friends list after years of being inactive. I didn't remember who they were, but I figured they must have been one of the people I used to play with regularly. One day, they sent me a message with a link to a game called House of Shadows. They said they had found it online and thought I would enjoy it. I thanked them and decided to give it a try that night while home alone. The game was set in an old, abandoned house, and I was fully immersed in the experience. The sound effects were so realistic that I felt like I was actually there. But then, something strange happened. I noticed that the game map looked exactly like my house. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but as I continued to play, I started to recognize familiar objects and furniture. That's when I realized that I was playing a game that was modeled after my own house. I felt a chill run down my spine as I looked around my dimly lit living room. I wondered how my old friend could have known so much about my home. As I continued to play, I heard footsteps in the game. They sounded like they were coming from within the game, but they were so realistic that I couldn't help but feel like they were also in real life. I paused the game and listened carefully. Sure enough, I could hear the faint sound of footsteps coming from the hallway. My heart racing, I slowly stood up and walked to the door. As I reached for the handle, the footsteps stopped. I hesitated for a moment, then slowly opened the door. There was no one there. I checked every room in the house, but I couldn't find anyone. I tried to brush it off as my imagination, but the feeling of unease stayed with me. I returned to the game, but the experience had been ruined. Every time I heard footsteps in the game, I couldn't help but wonder if they were real. I started to hear strange noises outside my house, like someone was trying to break in. That's when I realized that my old friend might not be who they seemed. They had sent me this game specifically for me, and they were watching me. The footsteps in the game were matching the footsteps in real life because someone was walking around my house. I immediately turned off the game and called the police. They searched my house and found nothing, but the feeling of unease stayed with me for weeks. I couldn't shake the feeling that my old friend was watching me, even when I was alone. To this day, I still don't know who my old friend really was or how they knew so much about my house. And sometimes, when I'm using my computer, I can't help but wonder if they have access to it, if they're watching me right now.